Have you ever stopped to think about what the real master secret of the ages might actually be? Is it something complex like atomic energy? Or maybe, I don't know, interplanetary travel? Well, our deep dive today suggests it's something much closer to home, and maybe, just maybe, more powerful. The real master secret, it turns out, isn't out there somewhere. It's this marvelous, miracle-working power found right inside your own subconscious mind. So today we're really unpacking some ideas from PowerCredit1.pdf, which explores this incredible inner potential that we all seem to have. Our goal really is to help you understand how you can actually contact and release this hidden power to bring more power, more wealth, health, happiness, and just more joy into your life.
Yeah, and what's truly remarkable is that this isn't some power you need to go out and find or develop from scratch. It's already yours. You possess it right now. So this deep dive, it's less about getting something new and more about learning how to understand it, how to use it, how to apply this immense treasure house within you. It's like this wellspring of uh, infinite intelligence, boundless capacity, just sort of waiting there, waiting to be accessed in all parts of your life.
Think about this for a second. Have you ever felt maybe a bit like a demagnetized person, full of fears, doubts, maybe afraid to move forward, maybe telling yourself things like, oh, I might fail, or people will laugh, or I shouldn't even try, that kind of feeling. Now, contrast that with what the source calls the magnetized man, someone just full of confidence and faith, someone who knows deep down they're born to win, born to succeed. That shift right there, from doubt to confidence, that's where this gets really, really interesting. Okay, so let's dig into the foundation a bit. How does this inner power actually work? The source material makes this really compelling comparison. It suggests the subconscious mind works based on principles. Principles just as universal, just as predictable as the ones in, say, chemistry or physics, like a chemist mixing elements. Right? Think about those basic laws we see all around us. Water always seeks its own level, right? Or matter expands when you heat it. These aren't just suggestions. They're universal truths. They happen every time.
Exactly. And if you take that same idea of universal principle and apply it to your mind, it reveals something pretty profound. It means that whatever you impress on your subconscious mind, whatever you really feed it, it will be expressed. It shows up on the, quote, screen of space, basically, in your real life as conditions, experiences, events. Your subconscious mind, it's described as pure principle. It works according to one specific law, the law of belief.
The law of belief, okay.
Yeah, and this raises a fascinating point the text makes. It's not really the thing you believe in that brings the result. It could be anything, true or false. It's the belief itself, held within your own mind, that gets the job done, which really tells us something important, doesn't it? It means we need to stop accepting, false beliefs, superstitions, opinions, fears that hold us back, and instead really start embracing what the source calls eternal verities and truths, things that empower us.
So, okay, what does all this actually mean for your day-to-day thoughts, what you're thinking about right now? It suggests pretty clearly that if you deliberately focus your mind, busy your mind with ideas of harmony, health, peace, goodwill, you're essentially planting the seeds for those very things to grow in your life. You're setting the cause in motion. Now, to really get a grip on this, we need to understand what the source calls the duality of mind. It's important to note this doesn't mean you have two separate minds battling it out. It's more like one mind with two very distinct characteristics, two functions. People use different terms: objective and subjective, conscious and subconscious, the waking mind and the sleeping mind, surface self, deep self. Lots of labels for it. The main point is understanding these two parts have different jobs and different powers. And the book uses this fantastic analogy to help visualize it. Imagine your mind as a garden, and you're the gardener. All day long, you're planting seeds, and those seeds, they're your thoughts. You plant them in the soil of your subconscious mind, mostly based on your habitual thinking, right? What you think about most often. And the principle is simple. As you sow in that subconscious garden, that's what you're going to reap in your body and your environment.
Oh, that garden analogy is so powerful, isn't it?
It really is.
Because just like soil, it doesn't care what seeds you plant. It'll grow weeds just as readily as it grows flowers or vegetables. Your subconscious mind is exactly like that. It will faithfully grow whatever thoughts you plant there, good or bad. Which leads to this core idea. Every thought you have is, essentially, a cause. And every condition you experience in life, that's an effect.
Cause and effect.
It's simple as that. Yeah. So your inner world, your thoughts, your feelings, the images you hold in your mind, that creates your outer world. And if you want to change those outer conditions, maybe things you're not happy with, you can't just fiddle with the effects. You have to go back to the root. You have to change the cause. which means changing the way you're using your conscious mind, changing what you're thinking and believing.
Makes you pause and think, doesn't it? What kind of seeds have you been planting in your mental garden recently? Okay, let's shift gears a bit and look at some really powerful, real-world examples that illustrate this whole mind duality thing in action. There's this amazing story about the famous tenor, Enrico Caruso, the opera singer. Apparently, before going on stage, he would sometimes get hit with intense stage fright, like crippling fear. His throat would literally feel constricted, paralyzed by spasms from the fear. His body would shake. He used to say it felt like the little me wants to strangle the big me within. The little fearful conscious mind trying to overpower the deeper potential. But here's the thing. Caruso learned how to handle it. He would stand tall and almost shout at that fear, at that little me. He'd say, "Get out of here. The big me wants to sing through me."
Wow.
Yeah. And by big me, he meant the limitless power and wisdom of his subconscious mind. And apparently, it worked. His subconscious would respond, releasing this flood of vital energy. He'd walk onto the stage and just sing magnificently.
That Caruso story is such a brilliant example of conscious control, isn't it?
Absolutely.
When our conscious mind gets filled with fear or worry or anxiety, those negative emotions, they just flood the subconscious. They can create panic. But what Caruso did shows us that we can speak affirmatively, speak with authority directly to those irrational emotions dwelling in our deeper mind. It's like saying, be still, be quiet. I am in command here. You have to obey me. And the subconscious, as the source emphasizes, is incredibly responsive to that kind of clear, authoritative direction from the conscious mind.
There's another great analogy the source uses. Think of your conscious mind as the captain on the bridge of a ship. The captain directs the ship, gives the orders right, decides where it's going. Then your subconscious mind, that's like the crew down in the engine room. They don't question the orders. They don't need to know the charts or see the destination. They just execute. They make the ship go based on the commands they receive.
Exactly. And that highlights something really critical for all of us listening. What kind of orders are you consistently giving to your subconscious crew? Because if the captain keeps feeding them faulty information, maybe wrong instructions, like saying, we're heading for the rocks, disaster ahead. Well, that crew down below, they'll follow those instructions faithfully, even if it leads to trouble. Your subconscious mind takes you at your word. It accepts what your conscious mind believes and accepts as true.
Yeah, and this plays out in really common ways. Take that phrase, "I can't afford it."
Yeah.
How often do we hear that? Or even say it ourselves. If you constantly repeat, "I can't afford this, I can't afford that," your subconscious mind just accepts it as a command. Okay, lack it is. And it will then, work to make sure you don't have the means. It keeps you in that state of lack. But the source gives this fantastic counterexample. A young university student saw this really expensive traveling bag she wanted. Her first thought was, naturally, oh, I could never afford that. But she caught herself. She remembered reading, you should never finish a negative statement. So she flipped it. She looked at the bag and declared right there in the store, that bag is mine. It's for sale. I accept it mentally, and my subconscious sees to it that I receive it.
Reprogramming the order.
Exactly. And later that evening, guess what? Her fiancé showed up with that exact bag as a Christmas gift.
That's amazing. And it shows how her mind was filled with the thought of expectancy. She accepted it mentally first. Her subconscious took her at her word, accepted the directive, and then, the how of it just unfolded. The source says the subconscious has the know-how.
It really does. And the book also has these simpler, almost kind of funny examples that make the same point. Like someone who decided, I do not like mushrooms, just made that statement. Then, if they were ever served mushrooms, maybe hidden in a sauce or something, did you get indigestion?
Oh, okay.
It's like their subconscious heard the order, the boss doesn't like mushrooms, and then produced the physical reaction to match the belief. Or there's the story of a woman who was convinced that if she drank coffee at night, she'd be wide awake at 3 a.m. And sure enough, if she had coffee late, boom, 3 a.m., eyes wide open. Her subconscious was dutifully nudging her awake like a perfect alarm clock set by her own belief.
Right, and these might seem like small things, maybe even trivial examples, but they perfectly illustrate just how incredibly responsive the subconscious is to our conscious beliefs and expectations, even the casual ones. It really underscores how vigilant we need to be about the thoughts we entertain and the words we speak.
Definitely. But let's end the examples with a really, truly inspiring story from the source. It involves a 75-year-old widow. She was living alone, getting by on a small pension, maybe feeling a bit lonely and forgotten. But then she learned about this principle, how you can convey ideas to your subconscious through repetition, faith, and expectancy, believing it before you see it. So she started this practice. With real feeling, real conviction, she began to affirm regularly, I am wanted. I am happily married to a kind, loving, and spiritual-minded man. I am secure.
She really put emotion into it.
Yes, the feeling was key. She repeated this affirmation, knowing and feeling it was true on some level, every day for about 2 weeks. Then one day she's at her local pharmacy. The pharmacist introduces her to a retired colleague of his. And this man, he turned out to be everything she had affirmed. Kind, understanding, deeply spiritual, looking for companionship. Within a week, he proposed. And soon after, they were married and off on a honeymoon to Europe. For a whole life transformed.
That's incredible. And the crucial part, the why behind it, according to the source, it was because her prayer, her affirmation was felt as true in her heart. That feeling allowed the idea to sink deeply into her subconscious mind. The subconscious is described as the creative medium. The moment her desire became a subjective reality within her, her subconscious mind got to work. It used the law of attraction, its infinite intelligence, its wisdom to bring about the answer. It orchestrated the meeting, brought them together in what the source calls divine order.
It's just amazing. So, okay, let's try to distill the core wisdom here for you, the listener. The big message is, this treasure house of incredible power, it genuinely resides within you, right now. The secret that great men and women throughout history seem to have discovered. It was their ability to contact and release the powers of their subconscious mind. And you could do the same thing. It's not reserved for a select few. Remember those key action points. Your thoughts, they are causes. The conditions in your life, they are the effects. It's that direct. You are the captain steering your ship, your life. So it's absolutely vital to give the right orders, the right thoughts, the right images to your subconscious mind, because that subconscious mind controls and governs all your experiences. So make that conscious choice. Start today. Banish phrases like, I can't afford it, or I can't do this. Stop giving those orders. Instead, consciously, deliberately affirm, maybe even silently to yourself, I can do all things through the power of my subconscious mind.
And to really let that sink in, just remember that the fundamental law of life is the law of belief. And belief, as we've kind of unpacked here, it isn't some mysterious force out there somewhere. It's simply a thought held with conviction, right there in your own mind. So the invitation really is to choose. Choose to believe in the things that heal, that bless, that uplift, that inspire you. Focus your belief there.
So maybe the question to carry forward from this deep dive is this. Knowing now that your subconscious mind is listening, that it's powerful, and that it's ready to obey, what new orders, what new seeds will you deliberately choose to plant in there, starting today?
It's a powerful thought, isn't it? Because changing your thoughts, truly changing your habitual thinking, it really can change your destiny.